Hey, hope you're doing well. Quick technique lesson for you today I mean, this is something I've been thinking about for a really long time, but a student I just had yesterday was just a really stark reminder for me. He came in telling me that he's been working on his follow through. And a theme for me over the years has just, like in my own head, has been a reinforcement of the idea that the arm, the hand, the shoulder really should be primarily passive. Of course, they're going to do some work, but if as a function of effort, they're doing more work than what your body is doing, then nothing works well. You won't have good accuracy because your arm is going to be tight and tense and moving sporadically. You're not going to have good power because your arm and your shoulder are just much weaker than the big parts of your body. You're not going to have good spin because your arm is going to be rigid, and so it's going to be really difficult to actually swing vertically and hit past the ball. Everything is hard if your arm is tight and tense. So here's that student that I worked with just yesterday. And this is one of his forehands before we worked together. I want you to watch his follow through here. What this is him trying to follow through, meaning after contact is made, he's making an effort with his arm to make the racket go in a particular spot. And that completely defeats the purpose. A follow through in tennis should be exclusively a move to allow the racket to slow down smoothly and naturally. It doesn't add anything to the shot. It doesn't add anything to the ball. Where it goes says something about the path of the racket. And so a lot of times people will try to follow through higher, kind of like my student is doing here, in an attempt to swing a little bit more low to high. But if you're making it go up there after the ball is gone, then it's contributing nothing. And so your follow through should be a passive movement. It should be happening on its own naturally. It should not be an active movement. And the more tennis players are taught to try to follow through a particular way, the worse their technique gets because their arm and their hand gets more and more tight and rigid. Less energy comes from their body, and it should be the opposite. The vast majority of the energy should be coming from the body so that the arm can be loose and relaxed and fluid. This is why our favorite tennis players make it look so easy, is because they move their body correctly. And so the more you try to follow through, the worse your tennis game is going to get on all shots, your ground strokes, your volleys, your serves. Yes, volleys should have a follow through, by the way. Like the racket should keep moving past contact. But just like ground strokes, it should be calm and smooth and passive. It shouldn't be an active thing that you're trying to do with your hand or your arm. So just something to keep in mind. If you feel your arm and your hand contributing effort, if you feel like you're working hard with your arm, you're doing it wrong. You're reversing the responsibility away from the body, and you're putting it onto your arm. And that's the last place you want the responsibility for hitting the ball. Hopefully that makes sense. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully this was helpful. I'll talk to you again really soon.